Okay, so apparently this works. It's certainly not the best of quality, but it's all I can do. I've only got this camera here, which is in my computer, and then the lighting apparently really sucks, even though my other webcam didn't have any trouble with this lighting, but apparently this one does. And my hair looks like retardedly dark. It is not this dark. Neither is my shirt. The walls are probably brighter than you're seeing. It's my bedroom door back there. I had to tilt the camera just to get any light on myself at all. And I'm sitting on the edge of the couch because if I had sat in my normal position, you probably wouldn't be able to see my face. Yeah, so anyway, and the glare on my glasses is fucking awful. I wonder if I could minimize some shit and make it better. Seems to be. I usually do anyway. In fact, I usually minimize the programs, so let's try that. Because I don't like looking at myself when I'm recording. So, how have things been going? I guess that's usually what everyone wants to know with the video from me. I don't know if you can see it in my face or not, but I have been trying to, I guess, recover. I still don't like the word recover. I prefer to say that I am choosing to try and be healthier. I'm eating more. I've gained some weight already. Probably not stopping just yet. I'm not really, but I only had like a few more pounds to go till like the minimal healthy weight, but for my body, it's usually 5 or 10 more pounds more than that before my body actually thinks it's healthy. I don't think I was meant to be a 19 or 20 BMI. My body seems to like 21, 22, 23, something like that. That's where it seems to go every time I eat normally anyway, so I may have quite a bit of weight gain left to do, even though technically speaking I only have to gain probably 3 or 4 more pounds to be healthy. And I find that even though I haven't like been working out or anything, I haven't been letting myself. Things are easier to do. I have more stamina and more strength, although my stamina and strength still leave much to be desired. Trust me. A couple weeks ago, I helped like sweep the floor, and it winded me. I was like to the worker who came over to help me clean. I said, apparently my body now thinks that sweeping is exercise, and she said, "Oh, that's interesting." Because of course she wasn't winded at all, because she's a normal person and I don't think she's ever had an eating disorder. So just goes to show what well, I think it's about 2 years now. Something around 2 years. Because I think this time 2 years ago I was almost at Emmanuel House, or I was close to going to Emmanuel House for my second time around, which was specifically for the bulimia and also for the eating normally, because I was doing both, obviously restricting and binging and purging, and I could not stop binging and purging at all. So that's why I went back, because the social worker asked me, well, what's the difference between you coming here and staying home? Like, why can't we do this on an outpatient basis? And I was like, well, if I'm home, I'm going to binge and purge. I can't stop myself. And that was kind of the reason why I went back to Emmanuel House, because it was a safer environment. They obviously knew that I binged and purged, so even if I tried to get into the pantry for binge food, they wouldn't let me. And the fact is, they keep the pantry locked at all times. I mean, I suppose I could have, there is a little bit of food that's not locked in the pantry. I could have binged or something, but, to my head, Emmanuel House was like a safe space, and if I had done it anyway, everybody would have seen, everybody would have known what I was doing, and I'm very secretive about, like, binging, especially, because I don't want people to see me doing it. And purging obviously would be, actually purging is not a problem at Emmanuel House. I've done it before, but you have to, I would go to a certain bathroom and stuff like that, but anyway, I didn't think like that. I thought, I'm not, part of my goals, my first goal was to eat my full meal plan, not restrict, not binge or purge, or binge and purge. I had to write it in such a way that neither binging, purging, nor binge and purge was allowed, because if there had been any kind of loophole, rest assured the eating disorder would have used it. So I had to write it in such a way that there was no loophole with the eating disorder. I had to behave myself, and that really helped a lot, and I gained back to a normal weight. But about 3 weeks to a month later, I had what I call a psychological crisis. I couldn't handle it, and so I started losing weight again. So ever since I lost that weight, I haven't been healthy weight at all. Closest I've gotten is about for my age now, because if I was, say, 18 or 20, the weight I got to would have been normal, but because I'm 26, it wasn't. Older people are supposed to weigh more. That's just how the world works. Percentiles wise, that's just it. Percentiles change as you get older, as well as when you're a child. So I was always, the closest I ever got was 2 pounds away. Most of the time I didn't get that close. Now, I would only just be underweight. Like, I wouldn't be emaciated. I wouldn't be, like, hitting BMI 16 or lower or anything like that. It wasn't super, super low, but it was low enough that my body didn't function well. It knew it was being starved. It really wanted me to eat. It would make me binge and purge, yada, yada, yada. And for the longest time, I've kind of been on what my new psychologist, I'll tell you about that in a bit, calls my eat and restrict cycle, which would be I'd get to a weight that I thought was okay, so I'd start eating again because I couldn't stand the hunger or whatever. The weight would usually come back pretty quick. I would get on the scale, I'd freak out, and I'd start restricting again. So the restrictive periods would end up being longer because it takes longer to lose the weight than just to gain it, unfortunately. But, this time, if I was still in the cycle, this would be the eating part of the cycle, but I'm, really determined that I need to break this cycle. It doesn't matter if I want to. It doesn't matter if ED screams at me. It doesn't matter about anything. I need to do it. I've seen the health benefits already. I've felt them. I have to do it. I don't have a choice. I can't give myself the choice, otherwise I wouldn't do it. Because weight loss looks more and more appealing. I had to go out and buy new jeans because almost nothing fits me anymore. I've got one pair that fits, just out of my old clothes. One pair that fitted, or maybe 2 or 3 pairs. And then one pair that's a little bit too big, I have to wear a belt. And then one pair that's absolutely massive, and they just fall right off. And there's no point in belting them because the legs are massive too. So that was probably from my size 12 days, 11, 12. I'm really hoping I don't get past a 9-10, because that's kind of like, if I go above that, that's like my fear size of getting above. The weight part, I can rationalize, a bit better now and say, you've been over 110 before, you've been over 120 before, you've even been over 130. It didn't kill you. If you gain a little bit of extra weight, it's not going to kill you. People are still probably going to think you're small because, people around here, we're one of the most obese provinces in Canada, and so a lot of people are overweight or obese, like most people. So most women are overweight or obese. So in comparison to them, they call me small, and I'll look at myself and go, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, when I was, BMI 23, 24, they still said this shit to me, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, do you have eyes? But, from their perceptions, then with the BMI 27, 28, I was small, right? And, well, I couldn't see it, obviously, because in my in my mind, Freudian slip, sort of, in my mind, I was at least 20 pounds away from where I should be at 135. So I was like, I am not small. I refuse to accept I would say now, if I was at that weight, I would say I'm not small. I'm a normal weight. Thank you. I'm not skinny. I would rather not be called that because it reminds me of when I had an eating disorder, and I'm not proud of that. And I don't like it. Something like that. Maybe not that way of wording, but something like it. I'm just, if somebody wants to start commenting on like my body or what I eat, I'm just gonna be like, look, you don't have the right to do that. Would you like it if I started commenting on your body, on your weight, on what you eat? If you wouldn't like it, don't do it to me. And even if you would like it, still don't do it to me because I find it disrespectful. And also triggering. Depending on who I told, I would say that. Like most of my family knows that I've had an eating disorder. It's been painfully obvious the last 2 years anyway, because I've been so fucking skinny. On the one hand, I see in the mirror. I did my little stance test. I took these before and after photos years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And I stood in a certain stance, and I did the stance again, and I looked like the bigger picture. And so at first it was kind of like, ew, oh, you're fat, but then it was like, no, you know what? You were normal weight then, or more normal than you were in that second picture. In the second picture, I was underweight. And even though I like the weight look better, I can't maintain that weight. There's no way that I can maintain it. I do not know how. Either I will gain from that weight or I will lose. There's no way to maintain that, what I consider my perfect weight of how I look or whatever. And the eating disorder will always want more and more and more and more weight loss. Like, it just doesn't end. So I've got to give up on this idea that I can control my body, control my weight. I mean, I can, but all it does is give me misery. All it does is make me weak and tired and pale and anemic and makes my heart race when I stand up and, lowers my white blood cells. And if, given enough time, it would do a whole lot of other shit to me. So many possible damages from starvation that, thankfully haven't happened yet. Could have happened easily, but didn't. I'm forgetting where I am a little bit. Yeah, anyway, it's not worth it, like, to be that size. All the shit that comes along with it. It's just, and to control my body and control my weight, it's not worth doing. Because all I get is feeling shitty. Really. Like, that's all I get. And for anything I would ever possibly do with my life, except maybe singing, looks really don't matter. And even with singing, I could be a Demi Lovato. I could be a Christina Aguilera. I could be a Jennifer Lawrence and just not give a fuck. Ever. Never having been skinny, or whatever, at least in the public eye. Or, again, like Demi Lovato, I could say, look, I had an eating disorder before. I was skinny before. I'm not ever going back there. Why? Because eating disorders are fucking hell. And it would depend also on what kind of singer I am, because, say, in the opera world, it doesn't matter. They don't care. If you can sing, you can sing. In fact, being overweight's a little bit better because you have more on your stomach, which means that you don't have to work as hard for your breath, like to hold long phrases and things. So it's actually better to be a little bit overweight, at least. Or handleably, if that's a word, overweight, like for you. You know what I mean? So nobody cares. I mean, Luciano Pavarotti was overweight his entire life, and he was like the most amazing tenor ever. One of them. So nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Or classical, or whatever. It's basically like, can you sing? It has nothing to do with the body. That's the way classical music is. We don't really pay attention to people's bodies. It doesn't fucking matter. Just matters that you can sing, or that can't.